Lumiere, and
I'm Eric Lumiere.
and we have a beautiful call to show up for 7 days sharing about self-love, and from my perspective, what are the keys, what are those habits, those principles that really help us not only live self-love in a really profound and powerful way, but perhaps are also the key to creating more of what we want in our life, truly allowing ourselves to manifest and to live a life filled with that we really want. So day 2, we're on day 2, and we're going to be focusing on let love in. How do we do that? How do we actually allow ourselves to feel self-love, to use self-love, and to really feel the feelings of that we want? But let's call in the light first.
I love it. Even as we're just talking about it, I already feel like more self-love present. Like just talking about it can get us to focus on what we want more of and what's truly in our hearts. So let's call in the light. We're going to center ourselves. We're going to align ourselves to this moment, to who we are. So we do call forward the greatest love, the greatest light, spirit that we are, and the highest of highs, this highest good of who we are, into this body, this beautiful human being, that even in all of its imperfections and morality, even in the sense that there is something really truly beautiful about us in the way that we get to experience life, the way that we get to participate in life uniquely through each of our own eyes and our hearts, our wisdom, our learning. And so we each have a gift to give, and we each have ways that we can be grateful for ourselves, ways that we can see ourselves in a greater light. And we open to these ways of self-love, these ways of acknowledgement, of gratitude for ourselves, in new ways that we haven't been aware of. So we just ask to see ourselves clearly, to see ourselves through the eyes of loving, through the eyes of self-love, of caring, of tenderness, like we would see a child if we had a child in our arms. Can even just remember that we are that child, that in essence we are that same being that was this big, that you could only just love completely. It didn't have to prove itself, didn't have to do anything, didn't have to make any money, didn't have to accomplish. So we can just open up to this love of who we are as a being, as a beautiful being. And that nothing's changed as we've grown up. Nothing truly has changed. Yes, we have more responsibilities. We have new ways to learn and to participate in the world. But in terms of who we are in essence, nothing has changed. So we're really here just to experience that true essence of the beauty of who we are, the sweetness of who we are, the innocence, the joy, the creativity, all these things. So with that, let's just again relax into our breath, into this naturalness of our beingness, into this moment. You can even feel your hands, feel your heart, kind of open up to the wonder of this being that you are, of like you have this hand that you can touch, that you can pick up things, that you can eat with, that you can draw with, paint with, climb with. That these things that we take for granted so often, that are gifts and blessings of who we are, that we have this heart that's beating, that's circulating our blood, that's doing so many things we can't imagine. And that also radiates love. I'll talk about the spiritual heart here, that we could share this love with ourselves, with others. So that's what we're here to do. We're here to share the love with ourselves. And in that way, it does get shared with others. So that could go on forever, because I just get lost in these essences, in these moments. But what's next? What else do you want to share?
Well, as you know, well, as many of you will know, one of the things that I'm the most passionate about is helping people learn how to feel again, and perhaps learn how to feel for healing. It's close to my heart because I really learned how not to feel. Had a pretty shitty childhood. Mum died at 14, was then left with my abuser. And so there was a lot of pain and hurt and trauma in my life. So I learned how not to feel. And I think that this life does a great job at conditioning us, teaching us how not to feel, right? I wonder if you can relate to in your childhood hearing you're okay, you're strong, suck it up, don't cry, don't be angry, right? There isn't real an appreciation that emotions are energy. They're just an experience. They're truly energy and motion. And maybe to the extent that we allow them, we may be experiencing greater gifts of compassion, greater gifts of self-love as we learn to have more compassion for how challenging it is to be human. We feel angry, we feel irritated, we feel sad, we feel disappointed as a human being if we're really alive and connected through all of our levels. I hope you can relate to feeling challenges at certain times. And so the opportunity that we have is when those challenges come up, we either shut them off. We're suppressing them, we're repressing them. And in essence, actually, this is a great bit of homework. There is a movie out there called Emotion, and it's basically a documentary about the leading research in what happens when we don't feel our emotions. And they are close to proving that 95% of all illness, 95% of all disease is a function of not feeling our feelings. So maybe it started in childhood. We started to repress our voice, repress this energy, and then that creates patterns, blocks in our energy, and that then can go all the way from the emotion into our mind and into our body, and that's disease. So we have an opportunity to feel more, right? And I think, well, I observe in so many ways, we're really great thinkers as human beings on the planet, but we've kind of lost from childhood that ability to feel. And so let's do some feeling right now, and we'll talk about why it's important in a little bit. But let's just do some exercises for how fully can we feel. And so we're going to play with, and this is a part of the 5-step spiritual manifestation meditation that is free through Allowing Love. But the first step is to let love in. If there is something that you do want, and really let yourself be aware of truly, if she floated down on a magical white fluffy cloud and she was sitting in front of you and she was, whatever you want, honey, truly whatever you want, you can have in this moment. What would you ask for? And so just be aware of what that is. Let yourself be aware of what it is that you want more than anything else in the world. So just take a moment to let that settle, to clarify that. Just kind of wiggle into, okay, this is what I'm going to give myself permission to feel in this moment. Okay, and so now we're going to spend at least 17 seconds, but probably closer to about a minute, just feeling this as if it were real. And so I love this work. I've done this for a long time now. I'm able to have a smile show up on my face pretty easily, right? As I'm feeling something that I want, it softens my shoulders, it just opens my heart, it just does something to my entire energy field. So I encourage you to be aware of, can you feel it so fully such that it does start to change your physiology? Maybe changes the muscles around your mouth, lowers your shoulders, but also what's it doing to your mind? What's it doing to your energy? So let's just do that for 17 plus seconds. Can you feel the outcome of a dream, the outcome of something that you want as if it were real and present right now? And so you can continue to feel that, really just allow that energy to overflow. And I'm going to encourage us all to be aware of one word, or maybe a few words, that would best describe this feeling, this inner experience. And we're going to call this a frequency. So if you had to put, and it's going to be hard to put one or a few words on maybe an indescribable, really big experience, but just choose the best one or few words to describe this feeling. And so for me, and the experience that I chose, that mine are relief and thank you. And that really, for me, captures the frequency. And in many ways, I could just say thank you. That really captures this experience of having this. It's thank you. And also in my body, there is just a profound relief. But just be aware. It may make sense, the words that come to mind. It might not. But just really allow those words. And be aware that they could be a profound gift. That perhaps showing up more, giving yourself permission to feel and live this frequency this way. Maybe there is not a better plan or map to allowing and creating that you want. But we're very focused on being in the mind and planning and thinking and strategizing and focusing on what we do, rather than focusing on the energy with which we're doing, focusing, allowing, feeling this, which in my experience is a version, a brand of self-love, of being with ourselves, for ourselves, energetically showing up. But it's just a profound opportunity to be aware that we can turn this on, right? We have an ability to use this to be this. And when I first started to do this, what was really profound to me was I started to be aware in my mind that what I wanted felt a little more believable, felt a little more real. And I don't know if you've, well, I do this process every morning. I do this process a lot. So I am aware sometimes as I'm calling for that, that's the thing that Spirit's asking me to receive, to experience. And sometimes there's almost like a choice point that I have. Like, am I really going to give myself permission to go there? Because there can be an inclination like, well, that's not possible. I'm not worth that. Like, there can be a block that we have to, like, our mind kind of cheats us, talks us out of it. Or we can just go, I'm worthy of this. I'm going to dive fully and completely into this experience and really give myself the gift. And as we do that, I do experience that energy, that spirit, that love, that energetic frequency in our body is clearing those blocks, is clearing those doubts, is clearing those parts of us that would buy into, I'm not worthy of that, I can't do that, that's not possible. So in so many ways, our ability to feel, to get excited about our life, right? And I think this is the big challenge, because it's a different thing to be aware of something that we're called to receive, something that we want to create. There's a big difference between attaching to it, anchoring on it, and then doing whatever the fuck we can to achieve that outcome in the world, right? That actually doesn't work very well. But there is another way to be aware of it and to be curious, wow, why is Spirit giving this to me? Why do I want this? Why do I want to fall in love? Why do I want a husband? we will become aware of why Spirit's calling us into this through our own experience inside. And I've shared about this a lot, but my first dream, the first thing I geeked out on this practice was I wanted a husband. And so I would go to bed at night and I would imagine his arm around me, and I would just feel that I had my husband, and I felt a particular way and he was with me. And I began to be aware of how that felt for me, and I began to be aware of how I was not showing up in my life in that way. Because the biggest key that I was aware of as I gave myself permission to feel it was the biggest key for me, and it's going to be different for everyone, and that's why we each receive our own frequencies, is I am loved just as I am. Like someone sees me, gets me, like just I feel seen and appreciated and loved in all my flaws, in all my ridiculousness. I'm just seen, I'm loved just as I was. And as I began to really receive this experience, I was aware, wow, I'm not living this energy. I'm feeling bad about not working harder. I'm criticizing this cute little nose that I now adore, but I would look at my face and I would just look at it and like, it's like, who's going to love this nose now? Fucking, it's amazing. But it really just helped me. Well, it helped me in so many different ways, and it's just one of the easiest way that we really can start to be a feeling, living, breathing human being again. And that really does give way, in my mind, to then being able to handle some of the deeper inner child work, where we're then ready to deal with, oh wow, okay, yeah, it's nice to feel joy and feel the greatness of the dreams that we want. But there is also a flip side of this, where it really is the most profoundly healing and liberating experience to be able to learn how to feel the challenge and to learn how to love ourselves, how to pick ourselves up in that, how to do this deep and transformational inner child work. I could talk about this stuff all day. I feel like I've gone out on a few tangents. But the bottom line, did you?
Yeah. Well, I just think, this work is so empowering. There's nothing as empowering as giving ourselves the experience we want. And it's like, so the switch is, we can wait all this time to get it out here for that, to say that we're worthy of it. It's like we look for the thing out here to happen so that we know we're worthy of it. But instead, no, let's just go right to the worthiness. Let's give ourselves the experience we want inside, because it's an inner experience that we're having. Even if something happens out there, we're having an inner experience. So let's give ourselves this experience inside. Let's feel what we would feel if we had it. And it's right here and now. And we just gave it to ourselves for free, without waiting for anyone, without permission. We just said, I'm worthy of this. We just said, I'm worthy of this great gift. I'm worthy of happiness, of loving someone. I'm worthy of being successful. Whatever it is we give ourselves as an inner experience. It's so powerful and so easy. And it's like, we can do this with anything. Anything we ever want to be different out there, we can just give ourselves the feeling, the inner experience of what that would be like if it were the way we wanted. And we can see if we want it. We can give it to ourselves all day. Like, we can get so full from this. It's like we're at this buffet, we're just like at the grandest hotel, and we're just picking and choosing what experience we want to have. And we can just give it to ourselves. I want to feel like I, am singing in front of 1 million people, and there's just so much joy and love, and everyone's singing along, and I'm just sharing with them my heart, and they're receiving it, and it's like one big family. Like, even as I just say it, I'm just like feeling it. And you can see me smiling in this expansion. It's like, it's there. It's right there. It's like the kingdom of heaven is at hand. That's what that means in terms of the experience, whether you want to talk about it in that phrase or any other phrase that any wise people have said. It's right here. So the feeling of it is a way to give our human being the experience here and now of that true worthiness that we are.
And I will really ground that is allowing more spirit into our beautiful physical form. That energy in motion, really, there is only one energy, and it's spirit. It's up to our human form how we perceive that and how we would label that and either receive it, allow it, or somehow resist it. But that is such a key for allowing greater spirit into our beautiful beingness. And it kind of gives you a little bit of a teaser for tomorrow, because tomorrow we're going to be talking about lining up with love. Okay, how do we really allow practices for profound self-love that also courageously support us in moving on what we want? Yes, it's a lovely thing to be able to feel, experience, manifest in our imagination, but are we courageously allowing love, allowing the spirit to move us? And really, it's the heart of, well, and as you were sharing, a quote from Deepak Chopra came present, and it is something to the effect of, inspired action does not come through thinking, it comes through the spirit. And so this is why I do this practice every morning, because when I'm aware of like feeling that I want, it could be a program that I'm enrolling, it could be a baby, it could be just anything, it could be just I love myself so completely today. But when I feel that and I let that into my body fully, oh my Lord, just watch the intuition, the next steps. It's just the inspired action comes present. But if I'm sitting at my desk trying to think, plan, strategize, it will come from a very, just a lower vibration. And so we're going to be talking about that tomorrow. And I'm just so grateful. I do have to give a plug out, because really we created this beautiful 7-day series because I want to share a little bit more about the power of allowing love. But if you're loving these tools of spiritual manifestation and you love the focus of manifesting your life through self-love, through really having more compassion, through self-healing, then we have, oh my God, this is going to sound so cheesy. We have the best program for you. And this is actually the culmination of 7 years. We have been doing different coaching programs for a long time now. And then we have condensed it into a 4-month program that is incredibly reasonable. And we start February 22nd. So we're really excited just to share that and to speak with anyone that feels called to really learn how to let go of living through this ego push, this pressure, this lower level, and how can we really lift into who we are, and live that not as a spiritual bypass, as a mental toxic positivity, but in a really grounded way, that we're using our human, we're using our challenges, we're really moving through it very compassionately and vulnerably.
Yeah, it's really full. And it's with family. It becomes a family. We do this together because we all need that family that can be there for us in our most vulnerable, our most challenged, our most insecure, our most messy, at the bottom and at the top, and say, hey, fucking great job. I'm celebrating you. You're incredible. I'm glad you're having this beautiful success, this awareness. So it's a great opportunity. Just, keep tagging along with us. We're going to share a lot more because we love to, because we love you. We love this work. We love ourselves enough to know that what's in our hearts is valuable. And there's nothing more fulfilling than sharing our hearts and sharing our love and learning how to love each other, learning how to love ourselves. I wouldn't want to be doing anything else. So whether it's with us or with anyone else, this type of ego work, human work, spiritual work is the most fulfilling I know. So love you all. I hope you just stick around with us, follow us, whatever, comment. If you want to learn about something, know about anything related to self-love, please message us or comment. We're here. We want to share. We want to meet you.
So beautiful, honey.
Yeah. So just as a last closing experience, just come present into your heart, into your body. And you can just see this big stream of light from your feet and into the earth and through your head to the highest of highs. Just that you are this beautiful, bright column of light, and just start feeling the lightness of yourself. And just start breathing that in and out, even if it's challenging to feel that. Just let your breath start giving you that experience. So you can just stop holding on to anything. Stop trying to be anything. Just be you. And again, this is something you can give yourself anytime, any day, any moment, wherever you are. Just being with yourself, being present, relaxing, breathing in and out, knowing that you are loved. And it may take time, but it's worth it. It's worth whatever it takes to know the worthiness, the love, the beauty that you are. So take that time. Love you all. See you soon.